for some parsley. What else grows in the gardens, boys and girls, by raising a hand? Yeah, Jared?
Watermelon.
Watermelons. Yeah, AJ?
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes. Ashley, what grows in the garden?
Carrots.
Carrots. What else grows in the garden?
Blueberries.
Blueberries. Yeah, Ashley?
Strawberries.
Strawberries. Jared, you got another one? No? You didn't think about it? Keisha?
Pumpkins.
Pumpkins. Damon, what grows in the garden?
Watermelons.
Watermelons. Ashton?
Lights, candles right in the pumpkins. So
in October you put candles in the pumpkins. So pumpkins grow in the garden? Yeah. Owen?
Carrots.
Carrots. Brooklyn, did you have one?
Carrots.
Carrots too. Yeah. Yeah, Jared, one more.
Radish.
Radish. Okay, Ashton, one more.
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes. Well, there are tons of things that grow in the garden, and Peter Rabbit wanted to eat all of them. But round the end of a cucumber frame, whom should he meet but Mr. McGregor? Oh no! Mr. McGregor was on his hands and knees planting out young cabbages, and he jumped up and ran after Peter, waving a rake and calling out, "Stop, thief!" Oh no, Peter Rabbit stole his food. He's going to get in trouble. Peter was most dreadfully frightened. He rushed all over the garden, for he had forgotten the way back to the gate. He lost one of his shoes among the cabbages, and the other shoe amongst the potatoes. After losing them, he ran on 4 legs and went faster, so that I think he might have got away altogether if he had not unfortunately run into a gooseberry net and got caught by the large buttons on his jacket. It was a blue jacket with brass buttons, quite new. He lost his jacket and his shoes. Peter gave himself up for lost, and shedding tears, but his sobs were overheard by some friendly sparrows who flew to him in great excitement and implored him to exert himself. What does that mean? Implored him to exert himself. Those are some big words. Yeah, Jared?
I have this book.
You do? Implored him to exert himself. They're encouraging him to buck up. They're saying, be happy and get yourself out. That's what that means.
I found the shoe.
Mr. McGregor came up with a seed, which he intended to pop up upon the top of Peter. What's a seed? Yeah? The thing that he's holding right there? Yeah. A sieve is like this little, it's like a bowl, but it's got little holes in it. And if you shake it, it'll shake out the little parts will come out of the dirt, but the big rocks will stay on top. So it sifts the dirt to make nice fluffy dirt. That's what a sieve is. Which he intended to pop upon the top of Peter, but Peter wriggled out just in time, leaving his jacket behind him, and rushed into the tool shed and jumped into a can. It would have been a beautiful thing to hide in if it had not had so much water in it. Mr. McGregor was quite sure that Peter was somewhere in the tool shed, perhaps underneath the flower pot. He began to turn them over carefully, looking underneath each can. Presently, Peter sneezed. Mr. McGregor was after him in no time and tried to put his foot upon Peter, who jumped out a window, upsetting 3 plants. The window was too small for Mr. McGregor, and he was tired of running after Peter. He went back to his work. Peter sat down to rest. He was out of breath and trembling with fright, and had not the least idea which way to go. Also, he was very damp with sitting in that can. After a time, he began to wander about, going lippity, flippity, not very fast, and looking all around. He's lost. He found a door in the wall, but it was locked, and there was no room for a fat little rabbit to squeeze underneath, because he ate all those vegetables, right? So he got a little fat. An old mouse was running in and out over the stone doorstep, carrying peas and beans to her family in the wood. Peter asked her the way to the gate, but she had such a large pea in her mouth, she could not answer. She only shook her head at him. Peter began to cry. Poor Peter. Then he tried to find his way straight across the garden, but he became more and more puzzled. Presently, he came to a pond where Mr. McGregor filled his water cans. A white cat was staring at some goldfish. She sat very, very still. Can we be as still as a cat looking at goldfish? just to go away without speaking to her. He had heard about cats from his cousin, little Benjamin Bunny. He went back towards the tool shed, but suddenly, quite close to him, he heard the noise of a hoe. Scritch, scratch, scratch, scritch. Peter scuttered underneath the bushes, but presently, as nothing happened, he came out and climbed upon a wheelbarrow and peeped over. His first thing he saw was Mr. McGregor hoeing onions. His back was turned towards Peter, and beyond him was the gate, his way out. Peter got down very quietly of the wheelbarrow and started running as fast as he could go along a straight walk behind some black currant bushes. Mr. McGregor caught sight of him at the corner, but Peter did not care. He slipped underneath the gate and was safe at last in the wood outside the garden. Oh, here we go. Phew! Phew. Mr. McGregor hung up the little jacket and the shoes for a scarecrow to frighten the blackbirds. Peter never stopped running or looked behind him till he got home to the big fir tree. He was so tired that he flopped down upon the nice soft sand on the floor of the rabbit hole and shut his eyes. His mother was busy cooking. She wondered what he had done with his clothes. It was the second little jacket and pair of shoes that Peter had lost in a fortnight. I am sorry to say Peter was not very well during the evening. His mother put him to bed and made some chamomile tea, and she gave him a dose of it to Peter. 1 tablespoonful to be taken at bedtime. But Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail had bread and milk and blackberries for supper, while Peter was still in bed sick. So, boys and girls, by raise of hand, what did we learn from this story? Yeah, Ashton?
He got lost in the bushes and got his shoes and jacket.
Why did he get lost?
Because of that, he never disobeyed your mom and dad.
Exactly. You always listen to your mommy and daddy. Yeah, Jared?
His dad got caught by Mr. McGregor.
He should have learned from what had happened to his dad. Yeah. And be careful and listen to your mom. And not go steal Mr. McGregor's garden. So, today I want to know what do you need for gardens? What kind of tools do you need for gardens, Jared?
You have to dig a hole first.
You gotta dig a